Hello. This is the third video on the Achilles rupture. It's a big day today. I met with the orthopedic surgeon, who was nice enough to meet with me, even though he didn't do surgery on me, to assess the healing. I'm at about 7 weeks out from the injury. And he did an ultrasound and said that things seem to be progressing. He did the Thompson test again, and there seems to be a subtle bit of movement in the foot upon the squeeze. And so he says that means that the fibers are reconnecting. So we have a positive healing process going on with the non-surgical route. And he also said that after me being in the boot for this period of time, day and night, I can start to wean off of that. So that's a big deal. I just wanted to show some of the things that I had. I was given in my initial urgent care this Rupture Airwalk boot, and I was provided with this boot, this wedge, which is probably about 2 inches. And you can see, I'll show in the camera, there's multiple layers to that wedge. And that was stuck into the bottom of the boot here and raised my heel up to about this point in the boot. And then after I'd seen the orthopedic surgeon, there's a liner that goes around your leg. The orthopedic surgeon gave me another lift, about another 1/4 inch felt lift, a little softer, and shoved that in the bottom of this pad of this liner. And so I've been up about 3 inches and taller than normal. And to even out my walking, I had gotten this thing called a Even Up, which straps on under my shoe and gives me some lift on my non-affected leg. This has multiple layers as well, so as things change, I can pull out some of the layers on here. This is still about a 1/2 inch, or I'd probably say 1 inch short on my good leg. It's still, I don't want to put too much on this, otherwise I might twist my ankle on my good leg or something. So, so I've still been a little bit, asymmetrical with my walking. But he said, the doctor said that it was time for me to remove some wedges. So I have this wedge in the bottom. It has a little bit of tape on the bottom. And the first thing I did is I took off the 2 layers. I thought, he didn't really say, he said, there's a lot of literature on, how conservative you wean off of the boot in the non-surgical way. He says you could take half of that off, or if you want to, you could take off 1/3. So he wasn't real specific, but I'm going to take off 2 layers. So this is 2 centimeters worth of the foam rubber. I'm going to take off the bottom portions because this tapers into the boot. And if I take off the top section, then I have this kind of, rigid edge here that would make it uncomfortable. So I'm going to take off the bottom 2 layers of this. It's kind of stuck together here with a little bit of adhesive. So now I have 3 centimeters of lift, and I've removed about 3/4 of an inch, so 2 centimeters worth. And I still have a sloped situation. So that's a big deal because I'm going to do this for a week, maybe a little less, maybe 5 days. And I'm going to reduce even further after that. So take out another layer. And even though he was saying there's not a lot of literature on this, he said at the end of the week, I could potentially be in shoes with a lift. And he provided me with a couple more felt lifts. All the things that I've been doing, just a couple. Been riding a stationary bike every couple of days. I'll ride for about 20 to 30 minutes with the boot on. I've been taking walks. Even though I ambulate around the house with the boot on, I have been taking walks that are longer in the morning because I was so much into that process of taking walks on a daily basis. I just couldn't give it up, but I've been using my crutches. So I put sleeves on and wear the wrist crutches that I have, that I was provided. And I'm able to do up to 2 miles, done 2.5 miles. I will say that one time I did 2.5 miles in the boot, being fairly careful, but I was striking a lot on the heel because of the raise in the foot, and it was causing some numbness, and the doctor said that's very common, that you get plantar fasciitis, that you could also get numbness or inflammation of the fat pad of your heel, and it's because you're putting a lot of load on that lift in there. And so now I'm starting to reduce the lift. I'll just show a couple of things on my mobility. You can see some of the biggest issues is that I have some atrophy of this part of my calf and the gastrocnemius muscle. It's really hard for me to get flexion in it. But as you see, as I flex it, my foot is starting to have a little bit of movement. So I can't quite get the foot to neutral with my tibialis muscle because I've been in this plantar flex position for so long. It's wanting to stay here. So I'm going to be in this boot and slowly dropping these lifts, and hopefully I'm getting into neutral. Now, some of the things I've been doing figure eights and circles and motion, and I'm able to move the foot, but it doesn't really engage the upper calf. And so that's a little concerning. I talked to him about that. He said that he recommended me do, I can slightly flex it. He says, do isometrics and hold it, and that'll keep triggering it, get your muscle memory back. And as I transition into shoes, more of this muscle will get activated. He also said that this is really could be up to 10 months before, or a year before I get all that muscle mass back in the calf. So also plan on going to see a physical therapist about getting some more exercises I can do. I've looked at a lot of the videos, wobble boards and, Bosu balls and things like that. I've got some stuff that I can use here at home. I've already started to do it as long as I'm not overdoing it. So good news, moving in the right direction, 7 weeks. And when I get into shoes and start moving around with that, we'll see how it goes. I'll probably still want to do my crutch walks for distance, and start working on how to walk normally, because right now I walk with my foot sticking out. So just to kind of, I don't know if I can get back far enough, but essentially the toes are out here to the side, because if I was to have them straight forward, I'd be flexing that foot in dorsiflexion. And so I kind of have this nice little pose, and I walk like that now without the boot, if I'm going to be walking without the boot, which is also not recommended yet. They still want me to be in a lift, not barefoot, and I should be in shoes with a lift. So that's the update. Hope everybody else out there who's interested in this and getting something out of what I've been going through, feel free to ask some questions, and I will see if I can respond. And I hope that you're all improving your own situations with this Achilles rupture. And I will talk to you again next time.